Hello, I'm Maciej Mikos and you're watching World Talks, where every word matters. On Saturday, Boeing's Starliner space shuttle came safely back to Earth from the International Space Station, but without its most important cargo. The two NASA astronauts whose stay initially planned for 8 days has just been extended to 8 months. And to talk about the prolonged mission on the planet's orbit, we're joined by Ewelina Zambrzycka-Kościelnicka, who is spokesperson for the Space Research Center at the Polish Academy of Sciences. Good evening.
Good evening to you, sir, and good evening to you all. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you for accepting it. So, why was the Boeing shuttle unable to bring Sunita, Williams and Barry Wilmore back home?
Well, the shortest answer to this question should be that it is a result of NASA's motto that says safety first. From the very beginning of the Starliner manned space capsule project, problem chased problem. On the one hand, the technology for building this spacecraft drew handfuls from the capsule designs prepared for the Apollo missions, as well as from certain solutions used in the space shuttles. This is a common practice in space missions. If you are sure that a solution worked, it is used again and again, only modifying the components. The spacecraft being developed by Boeing should have been operational for many years now. Boeing was awarded the NASA contract to build the Starliner in 2014. At the same time, the space agency selected SpaceX to build the Crew Dragon capsule. NASA signed contracts with the companies worth up to almost $7 billion in total, hoping that the spacecraft of both Boeing and SpaceX would be ready to fly as early as 2017. Those assumptions were not met. It took SpaceX an additional 3 years. The inaugurational launch of Crew Dragon capsule took place in the summer of 2020. Since then, Crew Dragon has performed 13 missions to orbit for NASA astronauts and commercial customers. It's also Crew Dragon that will be the spacecraft that will carry the second pole into space to the ISS. But let's talk about Boeing, in fact. Despite the fact that NASA officials initially believed the Starliner would be ready before SpaceX Crew Dragon, Boeing faced long years of subsequent delays, setbacks, and additional expenses. It cost the company more than $1 billion.
Yes,
Well,
but then on the other hand, Boeing officials were absolutely sure that the two astronauts we've already mentioned could easily travel back home with their capsule, and somehow it never happened. You say that safety comes first, but finally the shuttle landed safely back on Earth. So maybe there's something to do with the competition between the two companies, which you already told us about, between SpaceX and Boeing.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't about the competition. It was really about safety, because the third Starliner flight, the one that just came back to Earth, at least the capsule did, in fact, it faced a series of complications since the very beginning. The launch was postponed, and when the Starliner finally took to the air and separated from the rocket, the helium leaks and the thruster issues, I guess it was 5 of Starliner's 28 RCS thrusters failed, as it chased the ISS down shortly after launch. So the mission was supposed to last just 10 days or so, but NASA kept Starliner at the ISS for 3 months as it analyzed the thruster problems and what to do about it. In my opinion, really, sending the spacecraft back to Earth without astronauts was the best solution NASA could have taken.
Why so? Because it has proven that this shuttle is functional after all, but not entirely safe to transport people on it?
If you think about two disasters of the shuttles, Challenger and Columbia,
Yes.
it was a real disaster. It's not only that astronauts died and of course, one teacher, but it was a collapse of the of men traveling into space for many years. I guess for the first time, it was about 2-3 years that all those programs will stop, and the next time about 2 years. So right now, when we are talking about getting back to moon with the Artemis, if we are thinking about building new space station gateway around at the orbit of moon, we can't we can't take our chances to bring the astronauts in a spacecraft that might not get back to Earth in one piece.
And who do you think will build the facilities on moon, and who will finally win this race? Because, as you mentioned in the very beginning, those programs are extremely costly, and SpaceX was subsidized with less money, way less money than Boeing. And as you said, its Dragon Crew, shuttle is already functional, while Boeing still struggles. So do you think that Boeing is already out of the competition?
Well, we'll see about that. I wouldn't say that it's already out of the competition because, to be honest, we need more than one company. If we want to do huge things like going back to the moon and thinking about going to Mars and building a space base at Ganymede. All of this takes much more than the space agencies and a SpaceX. To be honest, this is all more worrying because of the monopolization of the space market does not favor anyone but the monopolist. Therefore, while we root for Elon Musk's company to build the world's largest rocket and other numerous projects, it would definitely be healthier for everyone if more companies emerged that could be a counterweight to SpaceX.
I see. Now, for the time being, we have two astronauts who are manned there to stay for 8 days, and now they will have to enjoy the very same view for 8 months. So, what to do for such a long time? Because I guess they were not equipped with, all the things they need to undergo some procedures, to do some experiments. So what are they to do there?
I'm sure they will be a great help for the astronauts already working at the International Space Station, because the really numerous studies and tests are being conducted there every day. Most of the astronauts doesn't have much free time to look through the cupola on Earth or talking to their friends. Most of the day is planned from the beginning, and trust me, if they have an hour free, it's a lot. So I'm sure that those two remarkable astronauts will have a lot to do. And another issue will be certainly to help understand the problems experienced by Starliner. The expertise of Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore will be crucial here. I don't think they will be able to laze around and look at Earth from the panoramic window, so-called cupola, until February 2025. Although, to be honest, I would love to lie there and look at the Earth through this huge window.
For 8 months, I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, okay. So let's imagine you're there in the outer space for 8 months, and you have to stay fit, right? Because there's no gravity. So how to do it for such a long time? I know that's not the record of a person staying in the outer space. It was one Russian astronaut back in the 1990s. But still, it's 8 months, and I'm talking, of course, about staying fit in a physical way, and also I'm talking about your mental health.
Well, to be honest, it's crucial. It's like the fact how our bodies are recovering from the space exploration and how can we stay fit is it's an ongoing topic of research on the ISS. We already know that the human body does not respond well to the life in microgravity because we are not talking about the zero gravity, but microgravity.
Yeah.
The ISS operates at about 400 kilometers over the Earth, so there is still some gravity left. Well, we evolved on Earth, so our bodies adapted to the gravitational force that is on our planet. Serious problems include loss of muscle mass and bone decalcification. So supplementation and daily hours-long exercises in a rather unusual gym located aboard the ISS are needed. If anyone saw any movies from the ISS, the gym at the ISS is really tough because if you want to wave anything, so it's not easy because
I guess so.
everything. So they have to put themselves down to any to a few what's the word for
Some devices they can hold on,
exactly.
right? Yes.
Exactly. Thank you so much. So it's not easy, and they must do it at least 2 hours a day. Sometimes more, but if they do it everything right, if they are well fed, of course, with all the nutritions, it looks like they can come back to Earth with very well health. But you also asked me about the mental health, did you?
Yes.
So, first of all, astronauts are people with nerves of steel, but even they may not be able to cope with the problems of staying in orbit for long periods of time. So, of course, for the first thing is that they have a ground-based team of psychologists and even robots equipment with artificial intelligence at their disposal to provide quick assistance. This is an extremely important issue that is also being studied in so-called analog space missions. We have 2 analog centers here in Poland, and I guess it was yesterday that a huge and very important European mission was closed at the analog space mission center below Krakow.
Right. So we're running out of time. But luckily, the astronauts, the 2 astronauts we've been talking about, they still have a lot of time to spend on the ISS. Well, let's hope that everything goes well on the February next year. Ewelina Zambrzycka-Kościelnicka, spokesperson for the Space Research Center at the Polish Academy of Sciences, was our guest this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. That is all for now, and stay with us for much more here on TVP World.